And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chance Ellison, and this is our 2021 NFL Draft Special. I got Russ with me. I finally got Russell on the channel. Russ, how you doing, man?
Yeah, it's funny. It's like the other person on the channel never comes, but you know,
Yeah, the other person, the only other person who works for this show does not come on the YouTube.
Listen, we had to do about sports, about the draft, so this is a good time to enter in and talk about it. This will be exciting.
Yeah, below me we have a good buddy of mine. Man, what the show, Mike Deacon. Mike, how you doing, man?
Long-suffering Jets fan here, as you can tell. So,
we'll talk about you later. And next to him, the guy who somehow won our fantasy league last year, so I think it only made sense to bring him back for this. PLD, all the news out.
Of course, I won it by auto drafting. So that's
you did win it by auto drafting.
How good I did it,
It's amazing. Hey, whatever works.
Hey, exactly, whatever it takes, as it says. And as for suffering, I'm a Bears fan, so I'm pretty suffering too at this point.
Oh, this is a rough offseason for you.
It's been a rough offseason. It's been a rough couple of years for me, to be honest with
you. All right, but yeah, basically what we're going to be doing here today is we are going to be talking about the drafts. You know, what we think is going to happen, who we think is going to go to what team, what we think teams are going to do, and we're going to trade out everything for the draft we're going to be talking about tonight. Starting with the teams, their first round is the biggest night of draft. We all know that. That's where the money's made. But there are some teams that are sitting this year out. First of which is a team that desperately needed a first-round pick. The Houston Texans.
Yeah. Oh, they need every kind of pick.
The Houston Texans
not good.
Houston is look. Laramie Tunsil is an amazing talent.
He's
a great player.
They gave up way too much.
Yeah, they gave up way too much. Not to mention they gave up players they could have gotten first rounders for. Looking at you, Hopkins, and just did not. So, bottom line, what is this team going to look like next year? Because
picking first.
Yeah. At this point, it's like punt the season and hope for the best.
Punt it away. We're done. Just file it away.
Of course, at this point, they'd miss the punt probably.
They probably missed the punt. But let Tyrod come in and do it because we all know that Deshaun may or may not be playing. We don't know what's happening with him.
But things you can't plan for.
You can't plan for these kinds of things. But yeah, they no first round picks. They picked up some decent free agents. They got Mark Ingram. They got Tyrod Taylor. They got Phillip Lindsay. Do you go for, say, I don't know, if we lost Will Fuller? Do you go for a receiver in the second round? Do you go for what do you do if you're the Texans?
If I'm the Texans, I pick whoever the highest ranked player at whatever position, because they can pretty much get improve on any position. So whoever the best there is available at that point, that you got to go with. You can't focus on anything at this point specifically. You got a whole team to go.
Who's the best athlete right now?
Who do we have that can do
more
anything?
or less?
You just got to wait for the draft to come to you. I mean, it's like one of those things where whenever you pick in a second round, I mean, you need a shit ton of help.
They're early. They're third or fourth in the second round, I think.
Yeah.
So
it depends. The season's completely altered if Watson plays. If Watson plays, they're maybe a 500 team, a 7-9 team.
If they don't, go to 2 or 3 wins.
If he doesn't play, you're looking at like a 2-14. Well, actually, I should say 17 games this year. You're looking at a 2-15 team or like a 3 or a 3-14 team. I mean, it's they're not going to be. There's no legs for that team to do anything in that division.
Even if Watson comes back, he has no weapons.
No,
he doesn't.
They traded away the last receiving core.
Indianapolis should probably, I would say, walk away with that division. It's a pretty bad division. Indy.
Well,
I mean,
there could be someone
in Tennessee. Yeah. Indy and
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Stand in the way of that. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, Houston. The crimes Bill O'Brien stretch way beyond. He's
not
a franchise.
Not an NFL coach, man.
No.
He screwed this franchise more than any player, any team could.
Should have stuck to college.
There's just a perfect storm of shit that happened to them at this point.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
and that Houston does have so many problems.
So many.
Yes.
Next team in that first pick we're looking at is the Seattle Seahawks. They lost their first round pick in the Jamal Adams trade last season. Maybe worth it.
It's good. 2 though. It's next year as well.
Oh, they gave 2 for him. Oh,
they gave up 2 for him.
but they're a ready-made team, though. I mean, they can make a push for the West. We've seen it a couple years ago, like with obviously the Niners, and then we're battling out for the NFC West. Last year, again, I think they took the division over the Rams. I mean, they're there. I mean, they have the offensive talent. I mean, they have the defense. Defensive is not as good as you've seen from like the Legion of Boom days and stuff like that.
That's why they made that trade.
Yeah, I mean, they know they. Yeah,
he's out of this world. But that's two first-round picks is a lot.
I mean, they needed
late picks though. They needed 23 this year, and at worst, I'd say highest maybe 17 next year. They're still going to be good.
Oh, they're still going to be a good team. They're going to contend for so being that the Niners draft medics for this coming season. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I mean, they'll for sure be up in the thick of things in the NFC West, though, I think.
What they really should have invested in, at least that what I think, is offensive line. Russell Wilson is running for his goddamn life every single play.
Absolutely.
So if I'm the Seahawks, I'm looking for the best O-lineman available.
Best O-lineman.
When they get
picks till late though. Their first picks not until like
especially to cover Wilson's blind side. I mean, that's where you want it at. But Russell Wilson, I mean, he's still doing the things with his legs, making plays. We'll see what happens though. Getting hit that many times does take a toll on you though. So I mean,
it does. Absolutely.
Outside shot of taking a cornerback too. They can use some help with the cornerback.
They need defense, like
secondary.
I don't know what happened to Seattle.
They're more likely to find that
biggest liability.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that. That could be a reach, depending if a better quarterback's available. I can see them going that route, because they need both, really.
I mean, because that DJ Metcalf's an absolute stud for them, man. Yeah. What a receiver. Whew.
Combine legend.
Jesus Lord, man, that guy is so freaking big, and he catches everything you throw to him, man.
It's so weird. Like I look at that dude, and it's like, you play wide receiver.
Yeah, dude. But if they had, I think if they had like a really good another receiver, another star-studded where they could double team Metcalf and open up, another star. I think that would be kind of smart too, to take a good receiver too, maybe. I mean, if there's one available when it falls to them, you know what I mean?
They have Freddie Swain right now, who's going into his second year, who, as the season progressed, pretty quietly got a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with Lockett, Swain, and Metcalf, they're pretty set. Maybe a tight end, honestly.
A tight end, because this is a league of tight ends. So, yeah.
Line, but the problem with this draft, tight end doesn't look that, there is one tight end.
Yeah. There's one incredible tight end prospect.
Yeah, we're not going to make it unless they trade up.
Unless they actually did take the Wilson trade.
Yeah, exactly.
That's coming from Chicago. And the last team without a first round pick this year, it seems to be a tradition at this point. The Rams.
Yep. NFC West, baby. Got to represent. I like it.
Oh, that's true, too.
We got to like it.
We don't need first rounders in the NFC West.
Hell no.
But they've got a limited window with Stafford. He's no spry chicken at this point.
No, you're right.
He's getting another. You have two, and this is even part of the Stafford deal. This is still paying out Jalen Ramsey.
That's right. Jesus, that's right. I forgot about that.
As of right now, they will not have another first round pick till 2025.
My God.
But I am kind of interested to see how Cooper Kupp and him have a rapport, because Cooper Kupp's a stud. Yes. I think he's a really good underrated wide receiver. We'll see what happens. I like Matt Stafford. I think Chance obviously knows I was pushing. If the Niners were going to make a play for a quarterback, I wanted Stafford. I wanted somebody who was kind of already seasoned, could give you a couple good seasons in the tank, and right off in the sunset. But we'll see what happens in LA. It's crazy to see him out of Motor City to go to LA.
You know what I mean? It is crazy.
Yeah, it is, man.
He's only been hit or miss. He's been he's these moments of brilliance and then moments of shit. So I kind of want to see him get a different place of scenery, have some studs around him, possibly help him out more. I don't know. He could be brilliant. But I've seen him fail a lot too, as an innocent.
But see, he reminds me of Cutler. Cutler's the same thing. Obviously taking a play from your Bears and stuff like that. But in Denver, though, the guy's a stud. The guy when he's on, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But again, you have that huge risk that he either gives you all or he gives you nothing. There's not that mediocre Stafford, unfortunately. You know what I mean?
And it seemed like he missed every Thanksgiving game. So somewhere around week 12 or so, you were likely to lose him. So
because the Lions are pretty much a lock on Thanksgiving. I mean, from what I've always thought.
They play the 12:30. That's tradition. They always play the 12:30 game on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Eastern 12:30. Yeah.
But yeah, I do wonder if the Rams are a team that can sustain, because they seem to have the same model. Like find a big shot player, make a ridiculous offer, including multiple first-round picks.
Yeah,
and then continue on business as usual. Did that with Jalen Ramsey. Did that with Matt Stafford.
Yeah, they're hurting defensively though. I don't think they're not a defensively oriented team. I think they're more offensively. I would say.
I think they could use the help on the line too, though. I mean, that's pretty much everybody, but they could definitely use some more help in the line to protect Stafford. Stafford's going to
they need to protect Stafford at all costs at this point.
And they still have Gurley's still their running back, right?
No, they've got Henderson, they've got Akers, and they've got Brown.
No shit, they unloaded him recently.
Gurley went to the Falcons last year.
Yeah.
Oh shit! That's
you don't remember his accidental touchdown?
Yeah.
They aided him in the Detroit. They came back to beat him.
I did forget about that.
It's just there's so many transactions every year. That's the thing I kind of hate about NFL. It's just the longevity of a player staying in the franchise. You know what I mean? I think that kind of
running backs.
It's very literally, especially in the running back position. Yeah.
Oh, they get shifted away. Like we thought Adrian Peterson was going to retire a Viking. Now he's been on every other team. You know, it's kind of. Weird to see that.
That's true.
Patricia.
Good call, Leo.
Yeah.
Good call.
Good.
But yeah, so that's it for teams without a first round. Let's get into the actual shit.
All right.
First overall pick. They won the 2020 Tank Bowl sweepstakes.
Congratulations.
What is there to discuss though? We know this pick.
Yeah, this is the only.
I mean, we do know this pick. Now, of course, first one, obviously, you're getting a new androgynous leader of the offense. You're Trevor Owaits.
They've already given him the playbook, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, but my thing is, my obviously distaste for Ohio State obviously is going to play a role in this one because, like, Urban Meyer, okay, like I'm just going to lay it out here, okay? This is the first time that he's really taken the helm, coaching NFL. All right, we've seen the transition with Harbaugh could do it. It did it nicely and effectively because he led the Niners to the Super Bowl, you know what I mean, or to NFC Championship, and then led them to the Super Bowl a couple years later. I just don't know if I got to see that coaching style. How is that going to play off in the NFL? Do you know what I mean? Especially with a rookie quarterback coming in, running a completely different scheme than he ran in Clemson. Ohio State ran a completely different offense. So it's going to be kind of weird to see this marrying of, Urban Meyer with Trevor Lawrence. And this is a team a couple years ago, don't forget, had one of the best defenses in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of crazy to see how much they fell quickly. With this, because I remember they were in the AFC Championship game against the Pats not so long ago. Was it a couple years ago they were there? They had one of the best.
I think it was.
Had one of the best defenses in the NFL. Absolutely, because I ride or die Michigan. So yeah.
Now I will say Jacksonville currently has the first pick and the 25th pick overall.
Okay.
Yeah. Now first pick we already know where it's going. 25 though.
Do you get one of his receivers from Clemson?
I think you get him a weapon.
Yeah, I mean,
you got your new receiver. You got your quarterback. The receiving core for Jacksonville, not great.
No,
they're fine, but you can do better.
No.
I think you can.
What's his face went to the Jets, and I'm forgetting his name. That's how good he is.
That guy.
The slot receiver. It'll come to me. But yeah, they did lose a receiver. James Robinson looked pretty good as running back. I don't know if they necessarily need to use that pick, even though that there's two potentially late round, first round pick running backs. But I don't know if they use it on that.
I mean, they need a running back too.
Robinson's a solid pick.
Decent
running back here.
Keelan Cole. Thank you.
Keelan Cole. That's right.
Yeah, Keelan Cole.
I bet they're taking receiver. The question is who's going to be available at this point because we already know the top couple that are going.
But I wouldn't be surprised if one of those Clemson receivers trickled down to him. You know what I mean? Get that report.
You're right. This is a deep wide receiver class too. Like, there's going to be
very deep wide receiver class.
Second round.
Huge, yeah. And I think that if they can get a guy,
I think that Kadarius Toney from Florida could.
He's not going to fall that far. I don't think.
You don't need to fall that far.
Maybe Rondell Moore.
I don't think. I think he's going to go to Indy. We'll get to that. I think Indy's going to take him.
That receiver probably is a mid-first rounder, I would say. Like he's really good.
Moore, I think Terrence Marshall's a possibility.
Bama's
guy from Washington.
Bama's receiver has to go top. I mean, you're stupid if you don't think this guy's going to be a stud. I mean, this guy's probably the next Randy Moss. I mean, I'm that confident in this guy's ability to hit the raw talent this guy has at his size. is absolutely it's just,
and he might be the third one taken.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing. It's absolutely mind blowing because to see this guy, in the big game situations like that. I think the first half he had 4 touchdowns, something crazy like that. And I think he got hurt or something like that, and sat out the second half of the game, and still had stats of a full football game.
More than the whole football game. He's
definitely a stud though, for sure. I would love to see if the Niners did get him. I'd like to see that, but that's not gonna happen because we're gonna fuck this up.
Well, maybe
could happen.
We'll see.
Moving on to our next team, the butt fumble of all butt fumbles, the New York Jets.
Uh-oh. The Jets. Jets.
Doesn't matter what expectations you have on them, they will fuck everything up.
Oh, man.
When you want them to win, they lose.
Yeah, let's get
it. To lose, they pull out a few random wins and lose on the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
Yeah, and then ship out Darnold. So it's this is some crazy shit.
I mean, again, they had the number 2 overall pick and the number 23 overall.
23, that's true. Yep.
So 2. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence is number 1, you can't tank for Trevor, so you're going to watch for Wilson. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure what it is. Zach Wilson.
Wipe out for Wilson.
Wipe out for Wilson. Wilson again, solid QB prospect. The dude did great things at BYU. Now he's going to be the Jets' future signal caller. Now, yes, we know where they're going. Now, Mike, as a Jets fan, what do you think of the prospect of Wilson as your first round pick?
You're looking at I'm just going to compare this back to 4 years ago when they took or 3 years ago when they took Darnold. Right now, they have more. They have Becton. Darnold had nothing on that offensive line when they drafted him. So they have Becton, which they have going for them, and they've got they have 4 wide receivers who are all okay. They're not spectacular, so they've got Corey Davis, Keelan Cole, Jamison Crowder, and Denzel Mims. It's not a terrible receiving core, but the running backs
you could do worse.
Terrible.
You could do worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could do way worse.
Running backs is terrible. Tight end Herndon's a flop. So he's got something to work with, but there's so many holes, and the defense needs so much that the Jets could potentially be in some high-scoring games this year, especially in garbage time. So Wilson might put up some stupid numbers, but they're all going to be at the end of games.
But I think he's more of a complete quarterback than Darnold. I think he's more NFL made than Darnold. I think
he also doesn't have the stuff of the wrath of Adam Gase. So
I mean, but to me, but look at Al, and I'll compare again to Alex, like a 49ers situation. Alex Smith, look at him when he came into San Francisco. He had a different offensive coordinator every single year. His first 7 or 8 years in the league. You can't succeed without consistency.
It wasn't until he got to KC that he had the same one 2 years in a row.
Yeah, or with Harbaugh. Harbaugh, he kept the same offensive coordinator for a couple years, and you saw the NFL quarterback that Alex Smith obviously could have been that whole time. Consistency is key with that, especially with the offensive coordinator. I don't know. I just think that this kid's more ready. Obviously Helming from Steve Young's alma mater, BYU. I think that, I don't know. I just think that, with the talent around him isn't as good. I think it's a little bit better than Trevor Lawrence going into Jacksonville, though. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
True. That's a good point.
We'll see what happens, though. I'm kind of interested to see with this kid.
The Jets secondary, with the exception of Marcus May, is not anything good.
But this is also going to go through.
Yeah, 23 when they're 23rd pick. That's what I'm gonna get there. Something like a Newsome, maybe.
And that's another thing. They have the 23rd overall as well. So with Saleh being a defensive-minded coach, I imagine they're going to pick a defensive player here.
49ers, 100%. Cough. See, Niners are everywhere, baby. But I totally forgot about Robert Saleh. Yeah, taking a head coaching job there. I think he's obviously a defensive-headed coach, so that he might buff it up. I wouldn't be he's going to probably take a quarterback because you have to, because you don't have anybody. But I wouldn't be surprised.
You have nobody.
I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, if that late first-round pick goes defensive side of the ball. Maybe
it's going.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, just because he's just because
the only way I see it not is if either Harris or Etienne gets picked before that pick, then they might take the other one.
True.
That'd be really stupid of them to go with the running back at this point.
I think the edge linebacker from Georgia, whose name for the life of me I cannot pronounce, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But the sophomore out of Georgia is probably.
I know who you're talking about.
Was it Azeez Ojulari?
Yes, Azeez.
Yeah, he's
that's who I've seen a lot of speculation for the Jets. So
yeah,
I mean, the Jets have they've actually got a decent D line at the moment, but they haven't had an actual edge rusher since Bart Scott. So
yeah. So we're gonna see how the Jets, if the Jets can actually improve this franchise. It's poison at this point,
right?
But I do like Saleh, so yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how the Jets fare this season. This next pick would have gone to Miami, thanks to Houston, but it was then flipped to
this third pick is wild.
San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
This is where the draft actually starts.
They had to be going quarterback, right?
They have to.
But see, here's my thing, and this is the argument that I've had this with like pretty much everybody. When you get a healthy Jimmy G, he got you the Super Bowl. He got you the Super Bowl. You're a couple, I think the fault of that game rested on Shanahan, not Jimmy G. You got too conservative with the ball there in the fourth quarter. That's just personally what I think. Obviously, watching and then rewatching the Super Bowl after, because I was so pissed. I needed to rewatch and see where the collapse in the fourth quarter happened. But I mean, when you're getting, and I think that's just Shanahan not being able to close out a game. We saw what he did, obviously. With
that's just Shanahan in a nutshell.
I mean, to me, okay. So now, if we're going quarterback, then yeah. I mean, again, I fucking hate Ohio State, but I mean, if you go, I guess at this juncture, if the first two quarterbacks are taken, I guess you go Justin Fields, because I mean the rapport that he had, obviously, I think with the San Francisco organization, just when he was throwing for Lynch and Shanahan and stuff like that, I'm not sold on him. I just don't think he's a franchise quarterback. And again, you could my hate for Ohio State, but what I'm saying is you haven't seen a quarterback from Ohio State lead a franchise. You just don't. Yeah. You see Troy Smith fizzled out. You see all the other ones like Haskins or whatever fizzled out. Like you see a lot of these other quarterbacks that put up mind-blowing stats in college. It doesn't translate here. So I mean, to me, it's like I don't know. We're already made offensively. I don't think we need anybody offensively. I think I could see this flipping defensively, because I know we're going to probably lose Richard Sherman. I see if we get a good corner, like a young corner, they're going to get rid. They're not going to. I mean, unless he comes back for nothing. But I all signs are pointing that he's pretty much done with San Francisco. I just don't think we want to take the hit with the money, with the cap that he's going to want, right. Or what I mean. So to me, I think we're ready made in offense. We're a two-headed monster with the running back with Mostert.
Yeah, running situation is good.
Yeah, I think we're good there. Tight end, obviously Kittle. Obviously we're good there. Brandon Ayuk or whatever. I think he's
looking good.
This kid's going to be a stud coming up, and then Deebo Samuel. Yeah. I mean, I think we're good there. I think we need I wouldn't be surprised. I would, and again, I said this earlier. I would love them to get that Alabama's receiver. I think that would be a stud move. Devontae Smith. Oh my God, can you imagine that with him and running that field? And then who gives a shit who's throwing to him?
Well, speaking of Bama, reports came out recently saying that you 49 for some reason.
That's what they keep saying.
Are looking at Mac Jones.
I heard that, and I don't.
A bunch of places said that.
It's come down now. From what I've heard, it's actually down to Jones and Trey Lance.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Okay, because I know for a while they were really sold on Justin Fields. I would want a quarterback more mobile in the pocket to make plays. I think Justin Fields gives you that. I just don't know how.
Mac's not.
And that's the thing, and I just don't know how he's going to hold up with Fields getting rocked there in the championship game.
But then speaking of Ohio State quarterbacks, unless I saw an Alabama quarterback really emerged.
Really, and I think back the one that was, well, obviously McCarron, but he fizzled out. Brody Croyle, who ended up getting drafted by the Chiefs. He was like probably about 15 years ago, I would say. He was a decent quarterback in college and went to the Chiefs. You didn't hear anything about him. That's then kind of what you're saying, Chance. You don't really hear much about quarterbacks. I obviously said the Ohio State.
Yeah, when you have the best coach in college football right now, surrounded by the best receiving core in the nation. Yeah, my fucking dog can put up Heisman numbers.
Right, but I think if Garoppolo stays healthy, we've seen what he can do. So I'm not too concerned about that.
Look, Jimmy G is about to file for unemployment because he's not.
I think you don't trade up unless you want. So
he's either going back to New England or he's going to wind up backing somebody up or just waiting for an injury.
Yeah. Unfortunately, true.
Look, Jimmy G, if you can stay healthy, we're going to need a quarterback very soon.
I'm telling you, if he stays healthy, there's no reason the Niners don't make the playoffs and make a push for the Super Bowl. I really, especially in a NFC that's not as competitive as it had been in the last couple of years. With you see, minus obviously Brady and the Bucs, but you see a lot of these other teams going down. Saints don't have Breeze anymore. How many more years do we really have Rodgers in Green Bay? So I mean, you're looking at your window now to push through. So I mean, and Russell Wilson. If he gets beat up during a year and stuff like that, he's not going to be that productive in the back swing of the season, especially with an extra game too. So we'll see what happens.
Do you see the Shanahan quote from today? Like, he doesn't know what he's doing today. He doesn't know what he's doing tomorrow. He doesn't know if he'll be who will be alive this weekend or something like that. He said today. It's a terrible quote.
That's the Shanahan for you.
Yeah, it is not good.
4 overall pick. Winners of the 2020 Choke Bowl, the Atlanta Falcons.
This one's tough to pick.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking what I just recently read. I wouldn't be surprised if they ship out Julio Jones because of the fact of the money, to save money.
Right.
I mean, I don't understand why you would do that.
For whoever picks him up.
That's the thing, but they're going to want to take experience, and I mean, Julio Jones is one of the best receivers of the league.
He could land in Jacksonville because they still have a ton of cap space heading into this season.
I mean, it could happen, and then they just draft a receiver. I mean, again, you could get that Devontae Smith or whatever like that could easily fall down to them, and he's going to put up just the same amount of stats, if not better stats than Julio Jones.
But here's my question: what if Denver is like, trade down to 9, you still get your receiver? I think that's a possibility.
I feel like they're going to trade out of this pick. I don't think they stay here.
I think they do. That's where I'm thinking.
Unless they pick a quarterback, they take Trey Lance or Kyle Pitts.
I think they're going Pitts. I do think they're staying.
Yeah, they're either going to go Pitts, Lance.
It's either Pitts or trade down. That's what I think is going to happen with the Falcons. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback.
No,
they're not taking it. You're not going to replace Matty Ice yet. He still shows you he can throw for 4,000 yards a year. I mean, he still has it. You need to be surrounded with talent. I mean, you can't. Julio Jones was hurt majority of the year last year. That's what really kind of hurt you guys, or would hurt Atlanta. You know what I mean? And I think if you get Gurley play well, to really kind of spread that ball out a little bit to give him the shot to throw it, I could see them taking a receiver. I mean, that just makes sense to me, taking a receiver.
Pitts would make a ton of sense, too, because you're getting a wide receiver in a tight end's body.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like Tony Gonzalez type.
Especially in a tight end league now, you're starting to see a lot more push towards that with Kelsey and Kittle and. I mean, I won't even say Ertz. Who the hell is Zach Ertz now? You don't even know who that guy is anymore.
Remember he was like a top tight end in the league. What a time! So yeah, that's Atlanta at 4. There's actually one other team we forgot to mention with one didn't have first pick because I completely forgot they traded out of this round. Kansas City Chiefs.
Right, they just did it.
They just did it.
Yep.
They traded away their first and their fifth.
They swap a bunch of picks.
They got a bunch of picks for Orlando Brown Jr.
Plus this year's first.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes is actually still running right now.
He is still running.
Is he out there? No.
That was a very smart trade, I thought, actually.
I mean, look, if the Super Bowl shows us
Fisher's gone for the years, and they cut him, so they had to do something.
They need more depth in that offensive line.
I've never seen a meltdown like that though. Like I've never seen a collapse of a team like that.
Breakdown like that.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I'm talking like completely. That would have been like I'm not going to really compare it to that because that was like when the Patriots went undefeated and lost. I mean, they were competitive. They were one fluke play away from losing that, from losing the Super Bowl. So I'm not even going to say it was a collapse. But like, when do you ever see a collapse like that? Like this team's the AFC powerhouse. There wasn't a team that was going to beat them. And they just laid down and took it. They just laid the biggest egg I've ever seen in a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
crazy.
Besides Atlanta, years back.
Atlanta at least put points on the board. You know what I mean?
They played 3 quarters.
Yeah,
and then just Atlanta the last quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Next pick, number 5 overall, we had the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if they were smart.
Traded.
They'd take Penei Sewell.
Well, Sewell, yes. If they stay there, Sewell. I agree.
If they stay there, they would stay there. They're smart. They'd stay here and take Sewell because they cannot have Joe Burrow get killed again.
I agree.
If they get to not traded Darnold, Sewell is who I wanted.
Yeah.
Although
if they hadn't traded Darnold.
The one thing I hear from them, I'm hearing that they're projecting a lot of potential linemen in the second and third round. So I would not be shocked if they grab like Jamar Chase.
Taking Jamar Chase here, that's my biggest fear for the bet. I hope they do it because they're my division. But taking Jamar Chase would be fucking stupid.
I agree, and I could see them doing it too.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you just lost AJ Green, but like. You need to protect that guy. Like, Joe Burrow's your future. Protect him.
Exactly.
And you didn't need to lose AJ Greeno either. That's the sad thing. You could have kept that guy.
Yep.
What if, though, the first 4 picks do wind up all being quarterbacks? Do the Bengals just all of a sudden say, who wants the 5th one, and just auction it off to that, highest bidder? That very well could happen.
That would be the Patriots stuck with Mac Jones.
I don't know. I just don't see it. You have to have help for, like what you guys were saying. You have to have help for Burrow defensively or offensively. I think if they go offensive, like a tackle or something like that, to obviously protect him, that would make sense.
I think Penei Sewell is going somewhere in the top 10.
He has to. There's no. Yeah. He's too good.
Yeah, like I would assume it's going to be the Bengals, unless they decide to be really stupid about it.
If the Bengals don't, I think he can be taken by the Chargers maybe, and that's like the next couple of picks after that. Maybe.
Yeah, if the Bengals don't take him, he's going to fall in the Chargers. That's the only.
No, if the Bengals don't take him, he's going the very next pick. The Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
Oh, that's true. They didn't protect Tua.
They could use an offensive lineman.
Fitzmagic can't save him anymore.
I get the feeling the Dolphins are looking wide receiver too, though. I do. I think they're looking like.
Well, let's talk about the Dolphins because they have the numbers that they had 3, flipped that to I want to say 12, 14, and then flipped back to 6.
Right. So what are you doing? What are you even doing?
Yeah, it's very, very strange. But I feel like
adding a bunch of mid-round picks by doing this though.
But the picks, I do agree.
And again,
with PLD,
those mid-round picks have some like. There's I'm hearing a lot of good offensive linemen in the mid-rounds. I think they might take a risk and go for a wide receiver here. And try to fill it up.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think this is where Devontae Smith lands.
Could be.
You think? I hope not.
I think they're going to take Devontae, or they're going to take Devontae or
back with Tua. Tua knows maybe Devontae. So
if Chase is on the board, which if Bengals aren't stupid, he will be.
Yeah, I mean, but Miami's done a good job in the draft the last couple seasons. I will give them credit
surprisingly,
because that's my wife's team. But I've seen what they have done. I mean, they've put a productive team on.
They've hit on almost all their picks. Their early round picks have been really good,
which is surprising because they were easily. They were like the Browns. I mean, I think the Browns were historically bad picks too, and I think Miami always kind of followed suit. But I think this is. They're in a good position right now. They have 2 picks, 6 and 18. They're really
18 also.
They're in a really good spot right now to really boost their team that went to the playoffs.
I think they run to the podium.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Pitts would make sense. I think the first one they go with a skilled player, they're going to take receiver or Pitts if he's on the board.
If Pitts is there, they run.
Yeah.
Second pick, they're going to go lineman.
Yep, 100%.
Makes sense.
They've done really well drafting the past couple of years. Especially, I like the draft class from last year. So I think their front office knows what they're doing. Something else, a team I'm very interested to watch next year because I feel like they could go 16-0 or 0-16. Not what surprised me. It's the Detroit Lions.
It's probably 0-17. Don't forget that extra game.
0-17. That's right.
It's so hard to think about that shit, dude, isn't it?
This team is
I just got used to 16, I think.
Yeah, I keep saying it's 16.
The first 0-16 could be the first 0-17.
0-17. Look, this team is in the midst of another rebuild. Their new captain is a doomsday prepper who wants to bite off people's kneecaps.
Quickly, though, that was really fast with the Matt Patricia leaving. Like, I mean, it was, again, I think we're really sold on you have to do it now within the first couple of seasons. I think that's putting too much pressure on these coaches. You're not going to turn around a team with a completely different scheme, a whole way of different doing things. Obviously, bringing some of his tactics from New England over, but it's like you have to do it now or never. It's really hard. I think.
I mean, right, but Matt Patricia.
This team's a mess.
Oh no, but he wasn't a good fit.
This team is a total mess.
No.
They lost Stafford. They lost Galladay.
You got Hawkinson. You got Swift. And
they're and
they got Jared Goff, which
sure.
Sure.
Goff is man.
Okay. Yeah. Why not?
Sure.
Goff's the dude that got it. Goff's the dude that's at a party that didn't an invitation, man. He's just walking around like whatever, man. You know what I mean? Like, hey, who's that guy?
He's somehow at $100 million party.
Yep. I mean, it just it
doesn't natty ice.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because I don't think this guy's that good of a quarterback.
So what do we think the Lions are looking at here? Because they're going to trade a lot.
They want to trade.
I think they want to trade. Yeah,
I assume they want to trade.
I think they actually
be looking for. I think the most pressing need they have is look. They at least have a couple superstars on offense. They got Hawkinson, who's good. They have Swift, who when he's not dropping game-winning touchdowns, is a really solid back.
They need help everywhere, though.
I think defense has been a main concern of them for a long time. Maybe that changes with Dan Campbell being the head coach now.
If Sewell is there, this is a team that. Yeah.
I mean, this is a franchise that lost two of their guys in their prime that walked away from the fucking game. Right. With Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders.
This is a place that kills careers.
I mean, but again, and that was the front office not putting up. I would say, and at least in Calvin Johnson's place, they at least tried to surround these guys with talent, like with getting Ndamukong Suh, trying to spend some money, trying to get somebody. But you were going against a team with the Packers. Like, I mean, you're not like, you know what I mean? And the Bears were still decent. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. Trade or Waddle? Waddle would be an interesting fall here.
Yeah.
Waddle will be there, I think. But
I think he was still. Yeah.
I think they could trade back and get Waddle.
Possibly, but
they need a ton of help.
Is wide receiver the most pressing need at this point?
No.
It's up.
It's there.
It's up there. It's there. Granted, they need things everywhere. It's like Houston. They need so much help that they need more than one first.
It's pretty much like fantasy baseball. Best available. The top of the list. Pick him. He's coming on. Come on, let's go.
And I don't think they have him in the first rounder this year. They don't. So
that's sad. I've always pulled for Detroit. I always liked Matt Stafford and stuff like that. So it's kind of sad to see them in this kind of rebuilding because Stafford gave you some consistency. It's kind of sad to see that, but we'll see. I'd like to see them back in they're a blue collar football team. I like that. Hardworking, Detroit, fans and stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah, they need a lot of work though. Tons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, speaking of rebuilds, next team to pick with the number 8 overall pick is the Carolina Panthers.
Wow. Another one. How the mighty have fallen quickly.
How the mighty have fallen.
This is the only team in the top 10 that I think potentially might go defense.
Yeah.
Really? That would make a lot of sense. They did it last year, Derek Brown. Derek Brown was a quality pick.
Yeah.
I'd be looking at because I think their run defense is actually pretty solid. It's their secondary where they need it.
Well, you need a receiver, or you need a big time receiver. You need a big playmaker on defense too, though. Yeah, in the secondary.
They have DJ Moore and they have Robbie Anderson, who already knows Darnold, and played pretty well with him. If you remember 2 years ago, Anderson did put up some numbers quietly. So
we'll see what happens. I mean, it can be done, especially in a division now that has New Orleans without Breeze now too. So keep that in mind going into that.
I think here looking for a DB. I think Caleb Farley landing here would make sense. Patrick Surtain could go here.
I would be shocked if they went O-line for offensive tackle, though, also.
Well, I don't. O-tackle's a good spot.
Like a Rashawn Slater type, possibly.
Slater, yeah.
I could see that happen, too.
Trevor Morgan, say from TCU, would be a solid pick.
Yep,
I like
absolutely.
Grant here. I think, I kind of agree with Mike. I think this is of all the team with a pick in the first round.
The most likely, but I read this, that if it happens, and it could, this would be the first time ever that potentially there could be a top 10 without a single defensive player. And it's not likely, but looking at right now, there's a chance of it.
Yeah.
I don't know though, but Dallas really struggling on defense. I could see Dallas taking a defensive player.
That's your wild card pick right there, yeah.
And I would really think that just because of the fact they've put all eggs in a basket for offense for so long. I mean, for the last couple of years, you know what I mean?
Unless Dallas trades.
JC Horn would be interesting.
Yeah. I could see it.
A bad pick. Yeah.
No,
I would consider that a massive overdraft. I think there are better quarterbacks above him, but I don't would consider that a massive overdraft.
well, the thing you're looking at now is there's a lot of teams in this draft that just have so much help. There's so much that they need. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, holes to fill. And I think that's the exciting part about this draft. There's not like, you know what I mean? Like we could say it with like, San Francisco or like other teams like, maybe like the Pittsburgh or, you know what I mean? Like, certain things of what they
have
need.
a need.
And that's pretty much it. But you're looking at like with these guys here, it's like Swiss cheese, man. Like you could literally pick any of these guys could all use the same exact help. Really. Mm-hmm. I mean, from what I see on the, on the draft list here.
The next pick too, the top 9 picks are all except for the Dolphins.
Well, there's a reason they're drafting this low. So
right.
I mean, or this high, I should say.
Yeah.
Coming in the number 9 pick, we have the Denver Broncos. John Elway has given up being the GM,
which is probably a good thing.
Probably for the best.
Definitely for the best.
Who are they riding a quarterback? I don't even know who they're riding as quarterback now.
It's still Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, really? Oh my lord! Whew.
This is a team that would have benefited from the Watson trade when that was on the table, but they decided to ride it out with Drew Lock.
I think they go quarterback. I think they go Lance if he's available.
I wouldn't be surprised.
If any of the 5 are available, they take him. No, if any of the 5 are, I think they might trade up.
Or if you
Drew Lock is clearly not getting it done.
No, definitely not. I think they're quarterback.
This is the team that definitely is the first one to look at to trade up, especially if if the 4th pick, if for some reason either of the Falcons pick a quarterback or somebody trades with them to get the quarterback, I think Denver panics and trades up.
I could even see, and call me crazy on this one, I could see this happening easily too. The Niners trade with Denver to go 9. I mean, if you're going to sit there, if you really
want to keep Jimmy G,
but listen, okay. I'm saying they're going to give up the house here for it, right? They're going to give up a lot to try to move up 6 spots to get a secure quarterback, right? That's your time to play with this. You know what I mean? You've already, and like I've said, you already have an established offense. You have pretty much an established defense. Like you don't really need that 3rd pick. That's why it's so mind blowing that they got it. Do they bait this? Do they bait it? Do they bait it for a team that needs that quarterback, that needs the next? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, but I think the Broncos
just a thought
here just because they had a lot of defensive signings. Your boy Cal Fuller ended up landing here, which means the secondary for Denver is actually now pretty solid.
Please don't mention that. It's still way too soon.
Speaking of defense, we already know where this next is going. The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I would say defense.
They spent a shit ton of money to keep Dak Prescott.
I gotta be honest.
They need some depth in the defense. Really?
I think they trade down.
Really?
I think they trade down.
Interesting.
This is the New England trade if it happens.
I think this is the New England trade. I think New England might trade to get the quarterback here.
New England trade.
That's what I'm thinking might happen. I just have this gut instinct that that's going to happen.
So you think they'll bump down?
It could happen. I know, like.
So they'll go down to 15 and pick.
This requires one of those quarterbacks to still be there.
Yeah, sure. If it's there,
they probably
Fields maybe if he's there.
I could see Fields dropping down. I absolutely could see that.
I think he's going to. He's going to be the 5th one. I'm pretty certain.
But he's.
I don't know why, but it is.
He's not that bad, but he's just not where I would put a franchise with him, though. You know what I mean? But if Dallas keeps it, they're going defense. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Their defense was downright horrid last year.
Mm-hmm.
They were at one point on track to give up the most points
pick a position.
in the league.
Sean Lee retired too.
Sean Lee retired today.
Yeah.
Take your pick. I would assume corner.
But that's why I think you can afford to move down a couple slots.
Right.
In order to get,
to
get extra.
Because you can still get your defensive player for sure. I could see that.
Yeah.
Never count out Bill Belichick, man.
It's looking like they're all going to be available. So.
Bill Belichick and Kraft have something in place. I've always prouded the team for filling holes easy. I've always said that. Look at the last 20 years. I mean, even with Brady and the consistency of that team. But you have holes, you fill them. Done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they're very, very chess-like, checkers-like, very meticulous how they do it. But they're always there. They're always in the thick of things. Obviously, last year was a rebuilding, but I think with New England, I think if you get them some help, give Cam Newton some help, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they obviously turn it around from last year, because I still think Cam still got something in the tank. But I do think they need to give him some help, though, for sure. Speaking of which, losing Edelman is a fucking abs. That's a kiss of death, man.
Which we'll get to New England.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. Dallas definitely going defense.
Defense, absolutely.
Unless they trade down, which they could, because I think Patrick Surtain, which I think is a great cornerback, probably still be around in the later picks.
That'd be a good pick there. That would be a solid pick there.
I can see that.
Looking at their rivals in their division, the New York Giants, the G-Man. So again, this is, and I think back to the time where they actually took Daniel Jones the spot over Josh Allen. But I think they're going to spend a lot of time. Yeah, this team's a mess. They're probably going to spend some money investing into probably the offense. I would assume offensive line here.
But fun fact,
if Slater would be a good pick.
Fun fact for you Giants fans, Kerry Collins took you guys to a Super Bowl. So just remember that. Whenever you guys think about it, Kerry Collins, Penn State alum, he took you guys to the Super Bowl. They got decimated by Baltimore.
They got absolutely massacred.
but Kerry Collins, so who would have thought that? Because I think Chance, we talked about.
Trent Dilfer won that Super Bowl, so.
Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl ring. So come on, there we go.
Yeah,
there's a shot they can go receiver depending on who's left.
Receiver, yes.
They've always prided themselves on receivers.
Yeah,
unless they want to trade,
that's what he does.
Unless they trade up to get Kyle Pitts and just get rid of Evan Ingram entirely, which they should, because
that wouldn't be a bad idea at all.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
They
reminder, Evan Ingram was a Pro Bowler this year somehow.
How?
They definitely go offensive.
To be a Pro Bowler.
They do like to do offensive side of the ball, though. I see them always, drafting receivers. So I don't know. This is another team that needs a lot of work too.
They took Eli Apple in the first round.
Gettleman needs Daniel Jones to work.
But you need a healthy Barkley too. That really took a lot out of that whole entire franchise.
That team was built around Barkley last year, and when he went down, they were done.
Yeah, and he was on my fantasy football team his first year, thank God, not last year. Whew, that would have been bad.
Jeff, the answer is actually none.
Surprisingly, actually, I'm shocked.
I've been on like 6 streams about it already. I think I've talked it out enough.
I got sick of talking Ed Harris, though. Come on, D. Come on. Get on brand.
I still need to watch it, man. I haven't seen it yet.
I just got back from there today. I saw it today.
Is it complete dog shit like I've heard?
No.
Or is it fun? It's fun dog shit.
It's fun dog shit.
You might want to turn your brain off in the middle hour, but aside from that.
I wasn't expecting like an elaborate Academy Award.
I don't think I walked in with my brain on for that, to be honest.
It's off from the jump.
It's fun.
The 12th overall pick they have that someone who had a shot at being a top 10, but then traded out the Philadelphia Eagles. The aspirations aren't super high, so they're probably going to ride out with Jalen Hurts next season.
Not to be confused with the Philadelphia Eagkes.
Oh, not Eagkes. Damn it. Look, I can't spell.
Come on, I had to do that. That was fun.
Yeah, fair enough. So what do we have the Eagles again? Jalen Hurts looked okay.
Jalen Hurts is a decent quarterback, man. He's a decent quarterback.
He's going to be a monster in fantasy because they're going to be behind a lot.
That's true.
That's a good point.
A lot of points racked up in garbage time.
Another
secondary.
Secondary, or you need a receiver too. I don't know.
Anything not named Miles Sanders, so anything not named running back basically is on the table at this point.
I say secondary or a receiver. I could see easily going here,
depending on who's there.
Yeah, because I mean Jalen Waddle could very well be available at this spot.
It could. I find at this point, secondary might be higher value at that point, depending on how many receivers go. I mean,
their defense
from Alabama
struggled at times last year.
Yeah. They still have Slay on the team, so I think that Javon Holland could go here. Andre Cisco could go here.
Yeah,
they have what
on the table.
LSU's receiver too would still be up there, right?
Jamar Chase. I feel like Jamar Chase goes top 10.
You think he goes a little bit higher?
Should be gone by this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jamar Chase will definitely not be on the table by this point.
And Devontae Smith or whatever, or what is it? Devontae Smith or whatever, he won't be on there.
Smith and Waddle. Waddle maybe if the Giants don't take him.
Yeah. Waddle maybe. Devontae Smith is definitely not going to be here at this point.
I can't see Devontae Smith being there.
No, there's no way.
Yeah. Next pick in the rank round, we have the loss. I'm not Like you saying that. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah,
there's San Diego. Come on.
I mean, they needed to trade to draft and clock management.
Yeah.
Anthony Lynn should help that. But yeah, I mean, look, they have their quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
He looks good.
Thing is, they're still losing games in ways that defy logic.
Yep.
I think they're moving to go defense at this point.
They could use defense. Yeah.
Well, they could use defense and offensive line. To be honest, they could use both.
The offensive line, if
Penn
Slater's
still
there
on the board, he's gonna take here.
I wonder, would they even go so far as to trade up for Penn?
Possibly.
I wouldn't blame them.
They could maybe even do a trade with maybe the Giants, go up a couple spots, or Dallas maybe too.
Maybe even Detroit. Yeah.
Or Detroit.
I think they could use a linebacker like Micah Parsons is a great prospect. I think Jeremiah Owusu, Koramawa. I think great prospect. I think that they need better coverage in their defense because run stopping because that's what Cam Murray's good at. That's why he was a good draft pick. Coverage that was a big problem.
Yeah, if someone like a Horn falls, I can see him taking Horn here maybe.
Yeah, it's possible. I would
secondary as a whole.
Defense line, or they're going to trade out.
Yeah, defense. Like I said, a lot of these teams
or line if one of the studs falls.
A lot of these teams are in that position because of the defense. I think a lot of these guys need defensive help a lot. So
it
wouldn't surprise me.
Mid-tier teams are mostly going to be defense, I think. Yeah.
Speaking of needing help on defense, Minnesota Vikings are definitely
absolutely.
Defense.
Especially for a team that prided themselves in defense back when who was the kid? I can't think of his damn name. The crazy redneck guy with the long hair. What was his name?
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen. That's it. Yeah. Like they had a decent defense with him, but they just really, they look really bad on defense. They look really bad on defense.
Yeah, I mean, granted, they were without their biggest package weapon, Danielle Hunter. He was hurt all season last year.
Yep. Yeah,
they need him to come back because he's the only one that gets him any kind of pass rush.
They should never. Yeah, I was gonna say they should never have gotten rid of the receiver.
Diggs, and he had a career year.
Diggs, like, and you had somebody to throw. Obviously somebody for Cousins to go to. I mean, I don't see this as wasn't a very.
Jefferson it was all right.
It was almost like a Houston bobble. Do you know what I mean? Like getting rid of your star receiver, pretty much. I think it was a stupid move on their part.
Yeah, but also just Stephon just didn't want to be there anymore.
Oh no, absolutely not. It was like a Randy Moss type of marriage with that team. He kind of wanted to get out.
Yeah, but here I think that they're definitely going deep because their defense was awful.
Yeah, I absolutely defense.
They have to.
Yeah,
second best available. Honestly,
anybody
with the drafting of Pat Pete, or the trading of Pat Pete. Definitely trying to fix that gaping hole in the secondary.
Yeah, secondary for sure.
Maybe that'll help. Help stop the Packers.
Unless they maybe get Sherman. I mean, they get Sherman out of free agency to patch up something. I mean, that's an idea.
That'd be such a weird pairing.
But it's
the two oldest.
It's a 1-year patch.
But we saw a moderately productive, Sherman in San Francisco, where we never thought that was going to happen, and he ended up staying for a while too. So I mean, it's kind of like he's more of the big brother now, not the shit talker. He's more the one that's really kind of taken the younger guys under his wing and he kind of mentored them. And I think it's a different side of Sherman. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up there if they need some help in the corner or in the secondary. 1 year, I mean, it's a risk. I mean, it's a risk-free. We pay him 1 year. You go maybe like $10 million, $12 million. I mean, you've spent more money on Kirk Cousins. I mean, I think it's a safe move.
That's true actually.
So I mean, to me, it's like I think doing that's it's all you can only benefit from it. Just an idea.
Now this is a pick I want to see what happens with this. The New England Patriots.
I don't think they're going to pick there.
They're trading up.
They're currently sitting at 15.
I think if I know Belichick and Kraft, I think they have something in place. They have an idea of where they want to go. They're trading up. They're going to really try to revamp this whole entire team. Like I said, especially losing somebody like Edelman. I mean, I've sung his praises. I know Chance is a little bit on the opposite end of things. I know he's not sold on Julian Edelman, but I think when you're going to miss that crucial, receiver to come up with clutch plays in big games. And I think
N'Keal Harry ain't doing that.
And I think to me that's putting a ton of pressure on. Like you need help everywhere, offensively, offensive side of the ball. I think if you give Cam a weapon, at least, I think if you trade up and get a good receiver, I could see them doing that. I could see them drafting defense. I just there's a ton of spots that they need help in.
They're going to be better on defense, though, because a couple of their players opted out last year. So their defense is actually going to come back stronger than it was. So I think it's offense regardless of what they do.
You do? I think I wouldn't be surprised if they draft another defense, though, just to try to solidify that the
Belichick just not messing with everybody.
And I don't know. And I really don't. Like I said, I don't think that Newton's that bad of a quarterback. I think he was just trying to learn a new system. And I think he was always behind the 8 ball when he started last year. He was never
let's see if he can throw for double-digit TDs this year.
I think he does. I really think that. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him a fair shake. We also have 17 games this year. Don't forget, guys, that extra game. Get a couple TD throws in, right?
Let's see if we get at least 10 touchdowns this year.
He's thrown his 10th touchdown on game 17, baby. Done. There you have it.
You win. There you have it.
Good job.
They definitely need to give him some help, though. He can't. I mean, he's not obviously the Cam Newton of yesteryear, where he made plays with his feet. I mean, he's still mobile in the pocket. Just he needs help. And Edelman was hurt last year a lot too, so you got to factor that into the shake of why they were so bad last year too. He didn't have any help. He had nobody to throw to. Right. So, I mean, it's Cam Newton really trying to throw to. Brady obviously could win Super Bowls like this. Cam Newton, on the other hand, you just can't do it. Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
no, so definitely not Cam Newton. I don't know.
I see defense.
Who are the stout white receivers on the board at this point? Probably all. But New England tradition, stout white receiver.
Where's Arizona and Kent State? Look it up because you have Gronk and Edelman's alma mater. So look for the Kent State and look for Arizona.
Kent State.
You should be good to go.
Well, speaking of Arizona, next pick goes to football retirement home. The Arizona Cardinals.
Retirement home.
The Golden Girls of I love it.
Here's the thing. So again, last year they needed defensive help. They needed it badly. Isaiah Simmons was all right. I just don't feel like they used him properly. I also just don't think they used him properly. He didn't fit well in their scheme. But I think this pick definitely has to go to offensive line because Kyler Murray is running for his life. Like Russell Wilson,
I agree.
Running for his life every play.
I'll give you that one.
I'll give you. Yeah, I said. But Kyler Murray's a stud, though. He showed even running up for his life. They still were a 7-9 or 8-8 team, I think, last year. So
they're set at wide receiver. They don't really have a great tight end, but you're not picking a tight end at this pick.
If someone like a J.C. Horn falls, though, I could see maybe doing cornerback, but it's an outside dark shot there.
Yeah,
I think offense.
They need offensive line.
They do.
Yeah, I think offensive line is the pick here.
I think offense would be
especially with then they have Connor, who really needs a good offensive line. He wants to excel in this league.
Gus Edwards, don't sleep on Gus Edwards getting the start.
Yeah, but
that could happen as well. Or Edmund. I think he's still in the contract.
Yeah.
If Connor holds up and he doesn't fall apart like peanut brittle, he'll be all right.
if he can just Connor translates to made of glass, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing against him. He's a nice kid. He's come in the airport numerous times. Obviously, a Pittsburgh native. So I mean, I always like to see him succeed. He just can't stay healthy. That's his downfall. That's his Achilles heel, man. He can't stay healthy. He stays healthy, he's a productive running back. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, and I think if you have a 1-2 combination with him and Murray, that should be definitely a little bit scary because they're both on their feet. I think that would be really fun to watch that. So we'll see what happens.
You've got one of, if not the best wide receivers in the game right now. So,
that was hand given to you easily.
Yep.
You didn't have to do anything.
You basically traded for a few rolls of toilet paper.
That was like the year that the Ravens gave us Anquan Bolden for nothing, pretty much.
Yep.
When they gave the Niners Bolden right after the Super Bowl, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Bolden, we'll take him.
Oh, absolutely.
Sold.
I'll
trade you
Bolden for $1.
It's Fitzgerald coming back for another year too. Speaking of Pitt,
he hasn't said.
Yeah,
it's not set in stone, but
he'll come back. I think he'll come back. He's
if he wants to be a masochist again, come back for the season of Arizona Cardinals football, then yes, he'll come back.
The guy can catch anything you throw to him. So I mean, he's old reliable. So I would absolutely
old reliable.
Even if he doesn't, they still have Isabella for their third spot. They're really good at wide receiver.
And Christian Kirk, that's like a really solid.
Kirk 2 and Isabella 3. They're good.
Listen. Worst case scenario, I'm sure Kurt Warner could be easily picked up at a grocery store right now. So when in doubt, right?
You're not doing anything, Kirk.
He's stocking shelves like the days of yesteryear, man. He'll be all right.
Just like old times.
Yeah,
now, the Las Vegas Raiders are a weird team when it comes to draft time.
Mostly because they're known to not that will surprise me. Like this team.
No, this team is like, yeah.
Yeah,
I can see if I
had to pick, I think they're going to go linebacker. That's what I think.
They're gonna overdraft somebody.
That's true.
That's what they do.
Enter Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, they have Josh Jacobs and they picked up Kenyon Drake. So obviously they're going to pick Travis Etienne. I think that's what we're going to go for here.
We got Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs in the league. Etienne, let's do this. But yeah, like I said, known to not give a shit about draft positions. So yeah, honestly, Nick Bolton could be a top first round pick.
It's literally
some name none of us
player's choice. Player's choice, man. It's like literally whatever.
You want to play here? Come on, you in the crowd. Come play for us.
Yeah.
Everyone take Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask in the first round.
We want the water boy from Auburn.
We'll draft Deacon Moss, the Mean Machine. Brucey for the Raiders.
I could see this team doing literally anything. So it's literally this franchise is in shambles.
How much longer is Gruden under contract?
I'm surprised he didn't want that out.
8 more years. It was a 10-year deal, right?
He's only two. He's 2 in, right? Yeah, he's 2 in.
Yeah, so I think it was a 10-year deal.
Oh Jesus!
Wow.
Well, Griffin, they better pray he evolves.
Can only get better. I mean, you can't get really worse. I mean,
worse, right?
I mean, you can actually get.
Yeah,
worse.
You probably could actually.
Look at the Jets. You can get worse.
But I'm saying, like, at least they have Derek Carr. I mean, they have like a quarterback.
If he holds up.
Yeah, he's another one that's he's a hit away from tearing his ACL all the time.
That is true. That's very true. Next pick,
Dolphins.
Dude, they're in a good position, man.
The winner of the greatest.
They might be in the absolute best position in this draft, just as a franchise,
because they're already balanced on both sides of the ball. This is all like
so close to being there.
That's like bonus points, pretty much on a test. Like it's like literally because you're getting a high draft pick in the first round, and then you're dropping down to 18. So I mean, like anybody would kill for this position. I think it's whoever's best available. I think to buff your team up either side of the ball.
No argument.
But now let's get some real talk, gentlemen. We have the winners of the greatest division in football today. That name redacted. Football team.
Can we just say what a disservice it was to completely shut out Alex Smith out of that fucking football team? Can we just have a minute? How sad that was.
Hey, look, Alex Smith got off easy. He didn't have to play for this team anymore.
This is true. This is true. But I'm saying they ran that poor guy out, man. I think he still had a little bit left in the tank. I think that obviously with the whole.
He got the redemption story though, and he got to go out. Got to say, "Hey, I can still do it," and now he can leave. And
that's it right there.
Let's see this happen.
Let's get the replacements to be the Washington football team. How about that? Let's do it.
Just like old times.
Keanu Reeves, make it happen.
The Washington football team. Now, I think this pick is going. It would make sense for them to trade up for a quarterback.
For a quarterback, yeah.
Just because I don't think Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen are the guy.
Wait a minute. Where did Fitzpatrick get signed out again?
It's Fitzmagic there now.
Oh, Fitzmagic now.
That's a stopgap.
Oh, was it really? Was Fitzmagic? Oh, shit. I really didn't even know. I knew he got traded from. Oh, he went to fucking Washington. Okay, there it is. Done deal. He's going to have a good 3 games. He'll have for 10 touchdowns.
Get him on the fantasy team for the beginning of the year.
He'll have 10 touchdowns the first 3 weeks. But we know that obviously week 17 there's going to be a 10th touchdown from Cam Newton, obviously. But don't worry,
Fitzmagic. Throw more touchdowns in the first 3 games than Cam Newton will the entire season.
Fitzmagic will go nuts the first 3 weeks, and then he'll absolutely shit the bed. But that'll be fun to see.
19 is tough though for them to trade up to get one of the quarterbacks. They're going to have to give up.
Yeah,
they don't have anybody to give up.
They got to give up multiple future firsts. Yeah. So this is going to be a tough trade to make.
With signing Fitzpatrick, I don't think they trade to get a quarterback. But like looking what they need here,
offensive help
again. They're all right at running back, but anything else,
I think it's actually pretty. I don't think they got running back here. I think and probably a good foil for McLaurin because the receiver course.
And McLaurin's a good. They need somebody on the other side though, because
they do. But like if they go defense, they're going secondary because the front seven for Washington is actually pretty solid.
They were quietly one of the best defenses in football last year. Like even though you laugh at their record, that defense was the reason they made the playoffs. Even though you scoffed at how little wins it was.
But look at the game against Pittsburgh. They showed up no offense, Chance. They showed up. They ruffled feathers, man. They got down and they made crucial plays when they needed to, and that's what you do in defense side of the ball. So
solid defense.
I could see it going either way, though. I could see if potentially do we get like a veteran receiver, we can get him cheap, so they can kind of kind of get. Oh, well, what I'm saying, like you can always find somebody. I mean, like teams are always getting rid of guys. You know what I mean? So you find like an old veteran receiver just to throw to. You know what I mean?
Stopgap, yeah.
I don't know.
If Fitzgerald finishes his career, Fitzgerald and Fitzpatrick.
For 1 year, for 1 year.
1 year.
That's Fitzmagic Square, dude.
Right there.
Yeah. Shit, Square. Let's do it. Done. We're selling. I can hear the shirt selling right now, man. I love it.
That's one of the only people he's never thrown to. So yeah,
that's true.
Done deal.
Up next, PLD. We got your boys. We got the Chicago
There you go.
Bears.
All right, can you I'm gonna go to sleep. Wake me up when Ryan Pace is gone. Please, Nagy behind him actually at this point.
So now, last year you guys led like 10. You guys drafted like 10 tight ends.
But
this year you got Nick Foles. You got your starting
Look
quarterback.
at this. We signed Andy Dalton, who is the definition of league average quarterback.
He's not even league average.
But he automatically jumps to like the top 5 Bears quarterbacks of all time because of that.
Your quarterback is miserable.
I have been alive as a Bears fan for 40 years. Our best quarterback is probably Jim McMahon. Those 40 years. That's probably the best quarterback we have. That says something.
You got to put Harbaugh.
Harbaugh's
definitely top 5. Harbaugh got to be up top 5 too.
Harbaugh, that's not saying a whole lot either.
No.
McMahon at least got a ring.
That's right, exactly. He did have the greatest running back of all time.
He got it off the back of Walter Payton.
Walter Payton and the defense.
And the defense, which was
pretty
excellent.
much.
Oh my God, Mike Singletary, man.
Dent, Perry, that year, Singletary. Oh my God, so many people in that.
They had everybody.
They were phenomenal. I still love
nasty.
But as far as this year, I have no idea what's in their mind because I don't understand how they think. In this couple of years, I've never seen how they think. I wouldn't be surprised if they fucking try to trade up and get like fucking Fields or something like that. Somebody else who's going to get us another couple of years, another Trubisky light kind of thing. It's not going to do good for us.
But where'd Trubisky end up going?
Buffalo. He's
a backup. That's right. He's backing up.
Excuse you, sir. That is the MVP. Josh Allen's career is over.
Dude, wouldn't that be hilarious if he got hurt and then Trubisky takes him to the fucking Super Bowl and wins?
Oh, that would be that probably will happen because that's what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. I mean, we got a quarterback problem. We have a cornerback, and now we drop Fuller. We're going to try to fucking replace Fuller now. And then I think they might go for a wide receiver because I think they might be trying to hedge their bets because they're pissing off Robinson so much.
Yes, I'm opposite brain attack because I am miserable. So do you.
Exactly. If I had to guess what they're doing, I kind of think they're going to hedge their bets and go someone like Bateman, a wide receiver, like Rashad Bateman, somewhere on that.
Rashad Bateman would be solid, especially since Robinson's franchise tag probably going to be his last year in Chicago.
That's what I'm saying. They need to. They have a couple of backups and a couple of like Darnell Mooney kind of did well.
Mooney's good. Anthony Miller's trash.
Miller, he was so good like 2 years ago, and then it was just trash last year. Riley, the rookie, he showed some flashes. potentially. Yeah. So, I mean, but I still think they might go wide receiver if they don't try to trade up. I'm hoping maybe they try and fail to trade up because I don't know if anything they trade up. I don't think they can trade up and get anything that's going to franchise quarterback them for a while anyway.
Well, Trubisky honestly had like glimmers of hope last year. I mean, there was some games he played well. It just, I don't know. I think it was a lack of faith that the front office put in him. I don't think, you know what I mean? You're starting one week, you're not starting the next week. You know what I mean?
Like, didn't give a reason to have faith in this.
The problem with Trubisky was he was like a guy, he showed flash. He's kind of like a Stafford in a way, but like more like extreme. Like he had flashes. You're like, oh, he's finally turned the corner. And then he'd like shit the bed for like 3 weeks. You're like, the guy they were undefeated when they benched him. Let's put it that way. That's how bad he started looking.
And that's the thing. And then again, and I know it's a common theme that
I know you're out.
But then you go against Green Bay, who's pretty much owned you guys in that rivalry. You know what I mean? Like you can't you lose confidence as a quarterback. I think going in the back and forth. Am I going to be the starter? Am I not going to be? I think you lose confidence. I think that definitely takes a toll on you as a quarterback. So I don't know. I didn't think Trubisky was that bad. I didn't think he was a top 15 quarterback, but I still thought that
he was not someone to trade up to get.
No,
let's put it that way.
But they definitely needed to put a little bit more.
Especially with Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in the same drafts.
But you still got to put a little bit of talent around him too. The guy can't. I mean, the guy's fucking young. He can't do it all himself. You know what I mean?
I just love seeing Bears fans all season. Like, can we get Carson Wentz? Can we get Deshaun Watson?
Russell Miller?
Russell Wilson. Andy Dalton. Fuck.
Andy Dalton, man, sucks.
I legitimately want to pump my fucking computer at that point. I saw that.
and then 3 days later, you release Fuller.
Icing on the cake. Thank you very much. Oh man! But the only thing I know is that they got solid. Montgomery is solid on the running back. I think defensively they're fine. They do need some help offensive line too, though, because their offensive line they were running their.
Yeah, and the offensive line class. Yeah, the line in Chicago is pretty bad too. So I think
there's so many different ways you can go.
You could.
Paul's gonna have a healthy cry after he gets off this chat. So.
Pretty much, I really am. I almost decided not to be on the show because I knew it was going to make me very mad.
It's fun to rehash all the fuck ups though. It's like, oh
it
man,
is.
yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Remember when the Niners and the Steelers forgot to take Tom Brady in the draft? You remember? They drafted fucking quarterbacks. You remember? I think the Niners the Niners quarterback was
Chad Pennington.
That was Pennington.
Niners took Sergio from fucking Hofstra, who's a goat farmer now. Are you fucking serious? Oh my god! All right. Anyway,
someone needs to make a documentary of I got drafted before Brady. About all the quarterbacks who got taken before.
Where they are now.
They did a 30 for 30 on that. I'm 99%.
Yeah, it's 199. Yeah. Oh no, that's why I said it. He's a goat farmer. They did it was the Brady 6. It was the 6 quarterbacks taken before. The other reason why I said it's because the Niners actually drafted a quarterback, and so did you guys. I think the Browns did. The Jets did. I can't think of the other 2 teams that took them, but yeah, they drafted quarterbacks.
The Jets drafted the most successful quarterback of all time, Chad Pennington.
Well, he's more successful than who the fuck we drafted.
He's the third best quarterback in Jets history. So
I think they said Steve Mariucci said something about. I think the one kid got hit in a preseason game, and he said he looked at him. He's like, "Yep." He's like, "The lights just went off." He goes, "He was never the same." And that was the quarterback that they took from Hofstra. Like, I'm like, well, you could have taken Tom Brady, who was like a fucking lifelong Niners fan. He grew up in San Mateo. All right, I'm done. Let's go on. Let's go ahead and go on.
Well, there is another team who's looking at a new quarterback situation, maybe for the better at this point. The Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz is going to be the new man under center.
He's got an offensive line now.
He's
got a line. He's back under Frank Reich.
Got some weapons. Yeah, this could be nice.
He's got weapons. I think that Indianapolis could be a really solid team next year.
This could absolutely be a nice dark horse here, especially with them drafting at 21. I think this is like a dark horse pick here for them.
I'm telling you, Kadarius Toney, this is where he's going.
You think? I think they will get Wentz a new weapon. I think Kadarius Toney
he can do everything. If you watched him in college, that kid could line up anywhere on the field.
Where do you go to school at?
Florida.
He's a Gator. He's Florida.
Oh, he's a Gator. Okay. I don't watch SEC.
He does everything. So this would be a real good fit for him.
Yeah, that makes sense. SEC puts out good. The SEC puts out good receivers, though. I mean, you gotta. I'm so one track mind with Big
Percy
Ten.
Harvin was.
Oh yeah, Percy Harvin was a stud.
He reminds me a lot of Percy Harvin.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah. Landing at first round pick 22, the Tennessee Titans. I think that I could see them going offensive line here again, considering their last first round pick didn't exactly work out because I'd be a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And considering that Derrick Henry is like the key to their offense.
You have to give him holes to go through. He can't do it himself, you know.
And Isaiah Wilson,
Jonnu, so they need offensive line 100%.
And Isaiah Wilson being the biggest bust of last year's drafts.
That really shows you how himself Barry Sanders did all of that without an offensive line. That's crazy to think about that. Like, because he didn't have an offensive line like Emmitt Smith did. If you think back to and just even watch game footage, he could drive semis and some of the stuff that he did. Emmitt Smith, and then Barry Sanders really just had to make his own holes.
Created his own, yeah.
But this will be fun to see what Tennessee does with this pick for sure.
Yeah, I think that their defense was also off a big chunk in the offseason.
Yeah, they did.
So that's a
they can do pass rush. They can have a pass rush. They can do it there.
I could see a pass rush.
Yeah. This again could be just a pure best available player on the board.
Maybe
they're in that situation. I think
another good solid linebacker maybe would be good too. Whatever.
We're drafting ATN. What, are you stupid?
This is pretty much a best available. I think both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
you just have to weigh out your pros and cons on each side, and then go with whoever you think. Who gives you more of an advantage as a disadvantage. I think it's just common football 101 at this point.
They can just let the draft fall to them. They're one of the few teams who can say that.
Because they're decent enough that regardless of this draft, they're still going to be at least a 500 team this year. I think they'll at least be 8-8. So they need help on both sides of the ball equally, but there isn't one that shines more than the other.
There's nothing absolutely dire.
No, I don't see that.
Yeah, they're solid. They need to add some depth and add some much more talent again. I think it would benefit them the most to go offensive line. Open
it would make sense for Henry. Oh, you have to, yeah.
Or draft more muscle for Henry's arm, just stiff arm everybody in the defense.
Oh man. Well, let's talk about that stiff arm against Buffalo, wasn't that? Oh my God.
Oh, he did it against Detroit.
Wow.
I genuinely think he doesn't know he plays offense. You didn't realize you don't play defense, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Boy, that's what a stud.
A moment of silence for once Josh Norman.
one of the best corners in the league there not so long ago.
Yep.
Until he starts talking shit.
Starts talking shit, and then he gets thrown like a bag of garbage.
Talk shit. What? When he was in Washington, start talking shit, and it just followed you, man.
Yep.
Now next pick is from my team. Not about our team. My boys are up next.
This is smart. Steelers. Oh, the Jets. You're going to do 23?
We talked about 23. We talked about the Jets earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, they're probably going to go most likely.
That's available.
Defense, but does Pittsburgh take Etienne or Harris?
It's tough because
does Pittsburgh trade up for a quarterback though?
No, they do not trade up for a quarterback.
This is Ben's last year. This is going to be Ben's last year. They need somebody.
I know they did meet with Justin Fields, which I would love to have Justin Fields as our future because I do not trust Mason Rudolph.
Listen, Ducky is not going to be your franchise quarterback. I hate to tell you, but I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly,
what about Dwayne Haskins? They have Dwayne.
I don't trust Dewey Haskins unless they can rehab Dewey Haskins, maybe. But
can you understand when I said Ohio State quarterbacks do not do anything in the league? see previous comment. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up for quarterback.
Quarterback was an Ohio boy, so maybe we can do the same thing with Justin Fields if he falls this far. Which I think there's no way in hell he does.
This is Farmtown, Ohio. Miami of Ohio is Farmtown area, by the way.
That is true.
Outside of Tiffin, Ohio.
Yeah, I think that there are one of two things they need to do. Either A, draft a running back because Benny Snell. Our running game the past 3 years has been atrocious.
Yeah,
it's kind of the key to our demise in a lot of cases because offense is.
But also because Connor couldn't stay healthy.
Connor couldn't stay healthy, and Benny Snell just is not. He is not getting the job done.
No,
Anthony McFarland could emerge if he has a competent line. That's the other thing. Either they need to get a running back. I know they're really high on Etienne and Najee Harris, or they need to go offensive line. I think someone like Alex Leatherwood from Alabama could do really well here.
Pittsburgh historically has been an offensive line driven team, so it would make a lot of sense.
Exactly. The whole philosophy is run the ball, stop the run.
Yeah.
have forgotten that philosophy the past couple years.
Well, especially because this conference has only gotten better, especially with Cleveland really stacking their team, and then Baltimore
and
on
Cincinnati's not going to be a slouch.
But Cincinnati's too. But I still think Cincinnati's going to be two easier wins. I think for them, they're going to grind out against Baltimore and Cleveland for sure, just like they always do. I think this is going to be a lot more of a smash mouth football from those teams.
I would anticipate them to use 2 of their first 3 picks on O-line. Because the entire left side of the line has been decimated. Villanueva's gone. Filer got traded. Pouncey retired. So.
I don't know. That quarterback picture is looming very hard after he leaves. Though there's nobody there.
Like they're gonna have to either take one in a later round or next year, because we also just need a new running back. We haven't had a great running back as Le'Veon Bell. So
Connor had one breakout season, and that was it.
Connor had
he had an asterisk by Le'Veon Bell because he was good, and then what the hell happened to him? Like after all that shit, went to the Jets and sucked, did nothing.
Yeah,
crazy.
Did he even touch the ball in the Super Bowl? I don't even think he had a carry.
He didn't have one carry, and then they lost the game.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. But we haven't had a great runner since Le'Veon Bell. I would love it if we took Najee Harris, but again. First round running back.
That kid's going to be a stud wherever he went.
Harris,
he's got his head together. That kid's going to be special.
You talk about was that Alabama's running back?
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
He's potentially generational.
Kid right there.
So I'd be fine taking him in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, but again, though, but we also said the same thing about Trent Richardson when he went to Cleveland. I mean, he was again just like
Number 6 overall. I think he got picked.
But still from the same blood, Crimson Tide. You know what I mean? So I mean, he was a running back in the same type of system. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think that again, Harris is a good running back, though.
I'm counting on O-line or not if he's available. Or
I'd say O-line's probably the most likely, but don't be shocked at the running back if it happens.
Or don't be shocked if a defensive player from Michigan, because they really like that too.
Yeah, that's true.
Defense is look. I know we've had a lot.
Just saying.
Had a loss on defense. Defense is the least of our worries right now. Our defense is solid. So.
I.e. Lamar Henry. Or Lamar Woodley, sorry. I.e. Devin Bush.
Devin Bush.
Just saying. You guys like Michigan, so
we do like Michigan. And picking after them, we have division rivals, the Cleveland Browns.
They're going to be fun to watch this year, man. This is going to be a fun team to watch.
Yeah. This is about them proving that this year was not a fluke.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty much it's 2021 is pretty much to prove that you're not Los Del Rio singing Macarena. You have to have another hit. Yep. We'll see what happens. It's gonna come out with another dance song.
Gotta come up with at least 2. You gotta be MC Hammer. You gotta be 2 hit ones.
I think this
alongside Garrett.
I think
Pass rush.
I think this team is ready,
especially because they didn't get JJ Watt. I thought they were going to.
Yeah, you get somebody aside Garrett.
I mean, but this team is ready made. They're ready to roll now. Right. I think they're clicking in. I think if Odell has a good year where he actually can stay healthy and stay in mindset, kind of reminds me like the Randy Moss. When you want to play football, you can be one of the best, but when you're out of the game, like you see Moss when he was with the Raiders, then you see a resurgence when he went to New England. You know what I mean? So the talent's there. Easily one of the best receivers in the league, but you have to want to do it. And I think if Baker Mayfield, I think he's you have your quarterback now, you have running backs, you have weapons, you have tight end Austin Hooper, you have weapons now. This team's gonna be fun to watch. I really, really am looking forward to watching these guys. I mean, obviously, they're right down to an hour and 15 minutes away from us. It's gonna be fun to watch because we're like in the best of both worlds. We're an hour from Pittsburgh, an hour and 15 from Cleveland. It's there. But it's fun though. It's fun to see this team coming back into some moderate relevance. Because they really haven't been relevant, and this is kind of fun to see that. I mean, kind of root for the teams that really haven't been. Like even with Buffalo, that was still a feel good story you were kind of rooting for last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Again, this is a free pick for him. I think best of whatever's available, really, or maybe trade bait for some other team, like maybe for Rams or somebody.
First round outright.
Maybe see what the Rams give you. See what Houston gives you. See what some other team that's not drafting, Seattle. See what they give you. I mean, do what Miami did. Look what Miami did to build this. They
kept
draft
away
order.
They just stockpiled.
And we thought they were like, are you serious? And now look at them. They're picked 3 in the first round last year, 2 this year. I mean, I don't know. It'll be fun to watch this team, though. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Counting on defense for this pick because their offense is pretty.
Yeah. I would say it's best available defense. Probably
defense. I mean, would only be the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Last AFC North we're talking about is going to be the Baltimore Ravens.
I think it's the same.
They have 2 picks now.
No,
I mean, picks in the first round,
they're 27 and 31. I think they go best. I think they bolster both with defense. They've been perennial defense led football team. Obviously, since Baltimore's inception, they've really been priding themselves on defense. I would see defense on both of those picks. I'd be surprised if something different.
They traditionally draft really well.
Possibly a receiver. They could use one more receiver.
They could. I could see them go receiver for one of them.
They could. I could see them going one, but I wouldn't be. Don't also be surprised if they go both defense though either.
Get another weapon for Lamar Jackson to not use because he decides to use the leg instead of throwing the ball.
Hollywood Brown and so.
That's true.
Wait a minute, Lamar Jackson's hurt. Wait a minute, he's coming back to the game.
Hold on, Lamar Jackson's got to use the bathroom.
What a game that was against Cleveland, though, man. That back and forth game, man. That was a hell of a game. That was a fun game.
Great. This is the team I'm very excited because do they even have a team anymore? The New Orleans Saints.
My thing is, okay, that's the other thing. What happens to Michael Thomas in this situation? Another top 10 receiver in the league easily. Who's going to throw him the ball? Like,
if Taysom is on the team, Michael Thomas is irrelevant. If Taysom's starting, Michael Thomas is like worthless.
He's irrelevant because you're using.
You got Taysom and you got famous.
But Taysom's like a fucking college quarterback, like in the Wildcat offense. That's all he does. I mean,
Taysom, you should respect Taysom Hill, the $140 million man.
Dude, he just reminds me of somebody that walks onto like a Big Ten football team and has this huge productive year. I remember when Tate Forcier, you guys won't know, he was a Michigan quarterback. He was one of the first quarterbacks to come in under Rich Rodriguez when Rich Rodriguez left West Virginia to come in, and he was like that. He was like this white dude that was fast on his feet. And it was crazy, and he did that shit too, like do like the spread, like the spread offense, and then try to do the wildcat offense and shit. And anyway, it just doesn't work. It doesn't transform into the NFL.
If he's outright starting this year, they won't win 6 games, I don't think, because defenses will read them so quickly. After like 2 or 3 games, they're gonna know everything.
The only thing,
he'd still be top 10 Bears quarterback, just so you know. Just
hey.
He'd be playing it tomorrow, okay?
You don't need a team. You don't need a team when you got Taysom.
Trade for Taysom. That's the Bears' philosophy.
I don't know. But you're in a division where
you should take Taysom.
But you're in a division where you can afford to get a little bit more kind of experimental, just because outside of Tampa Bay, there's really nobody in that division that's going to run away with it. I don't think obviously the Saints, Falcons aren't going to be the same Falcons that they were, and Carolina is still rebuilding too. I don't think it's Tampa's division to lose. I think really New Orleans. I think honestly, if they can come in and just play mediocre football, I mean, they could easily be competitive. But I don't know. Like I said,
they could be this year's Bears.
Yeah. I could see that, but they're this post Breeze thing's scary for them because I really wasn't. I thought Drew was going to give him one more year, and I even said that with you.
He was contract for one more year.
Yeah.
I assumed that he was going one more. You don't want to lose the NFC champ, or what was it? NFC, not the championship. Was it NFC divisional? Divisional. You don't want to lose like that, man. Not like that, but
the irony of the last thing Drew Brees saw in his NFL career was someone taking a knee.
Yeah.
Speaking of losing in big playoff games, the Buffalo Bills. Now look, the quarterback situation is settled in that they have Mitch Trubisky. And you can't let the MVP ride the bench.
Big bitch Mitch, okay.
Now this is a team that needs to fix a whole lot because they're pretty solid all around. I would maybe a receiver as a foil for Diggs because John Brown got traded.
Another receiver. Or just
another
a little
receiver, or trade out of the round, get in stockpile.
They could also take a running back. I think you could upgrade from Devin Singletary.
That's a team that so I'm looking at the round 2. So say I'm looking at the picks right now. Who would need? Well, Houston doesn't have a second round pick either. So no, that's
poor Houston.
Sell your merchandise now, folks.
This is the price for winning the World Series a few years back.
Yeah. this, they could trade down a couple spots. Say if like Atlanta or somebody sees someone they love, get back into the second round and still be able to find one of those 2 running backs if they're still available at this point. Because I don't particularly foresee Green Bay or.
We'll talk about Green Bay.
Yeah, actually, you got them backwards, right? Green Bay picked before Buffalo.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did get him backwards.
Yeah. Sorry, so you forgot Green Bay. That's okay. So I try to forget about Green Bay every day of my life.
Yeah,
let's talk about Green Bay. The Packers is
Bye, Paul.
Paul's gone. Paul's left now.
Now
I'm sick of the cheese.
Your oppressors have the 29th overall pick.
Yeah.
But are they going to be like last year and be really stupid about it?
I hope so. But probably not.
Probably not. Turned out to be the second dumbest pick of the first round last year, I think.
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah. Well, is the first Isaiah Wilson?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Ironically, Jordan Love ended up being the biggest, like the worst pick of the first round. He at least threw some footballs.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so look, now Green Bay's defense has historically been. They had pretty good defense this year.
Wasn't bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Wasn't enough
to be the apology to Rodgers to get a receiver.
They need a receiver for Rodgers.
You'd think
they need a receiver. They need a receiver.
Has to be the apology to Rodgers to get a receiver.
Yeah.
If I want to see a reaction coming from Aaron Rodgers if they don't take a receiver.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be crazy if they got like a Julio Jones or something like that from a trade or something like that? Really buff that up a little bit.
That team, if they get Julio Jones,
though.
They don't.
I'm just saying, like,
they
don't. But I'm saying, like, but
that'd be the ultimate apology.
But we're looking at Rodgers on a backswing here. He's only got a couple more years left in the tank. I think really we need to get him I mean, if you're a Packer fan, I think you need to get him some weapons to play with here for his last couple years.
Or honestly, because they were also up for JJ Watt this season, they could get a pass rusher.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a few of them there.
They'll have available options this round. There's going to be an edge rusher they can take.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe get somebody to replace Kevin King, who for some reason is coming back.
I don't know.
That bodes well for you, PLD.
It does. I'm actually looking at that. I'm like, maybe.
I just see the candle fizzling out a little bit for the Packers, though. I think their window's closing super, super, super small now. I just don't.
I do too, but I'm not wondering if that's just my being hopeful. I don't know.
No, but I'm thinking
please close.
I mean, but they'll be in the thick of things in the NFC because I think the NFC is taking a back seat a little bit.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know.
Yeah, and the last pick overall, the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
TB12, yeah.
All 22 starters returning. So like
it doesn't. This is house money here. This is you're playing with house money right now.
And again, I thought they're gonna go. I thought they're gonna go offensive line again.
You do whatever you want to do.
I mean,
you could trade it. You could trade it.
Trade it. Yeah.
Trade it to get more picks next year. I mean, you do whatever you want to do.
They can literally do what they're stacked. Yeah. There's really not that much of a gap. Maybe they're secondary. If they've got a good cornerback or something. But
I just think it'll be funny to watch everybody's face when Edelman comes out of retirement and goes to Tampa.
He ain't coming back.
Watch.
That brother ain't coming back.
Watch it. We'll see. Wouldn't that be fun?
I wouldn't be shocked.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me.
They already got their stout wide receiver. They're fine. They don't need another one.
That's just true.
All right, so that is the NFL, the 2021 NFL
first round
draft. But either way, draft is this Thursday. It's gonna be.
It's
gonna. I'm excited.
Cleveland.
I'm excited to see where we land.
Yeah,
it's in Cleveland, Ohio.
To see the outlook.
It's always a fun night. It's there's free agency, but this is the first night that everything's all happening all at once, and it's the first real celebration of the NFL each year. So
it really is. It's like how you look forward to like July and August for like obviously like college football. You're looking forward to the beginning of the season. This kind of starts the season months earlier because we've been out of football for what 3 months or 2 months. This is fun. Like I'm looking forward to. Hopefully our teams do good. I'm all across the board with our teams here. I try to. Hopefully we all have decent. I'm really especially because the spotlight's on like fucking Niners like dropping a fucking egg here, and you guys too. So I'm like, I don't know. So we'll see.
All right, so that's gonna do it for today's stream. PLD, anything you want to put before we head out?
FCL on Tuesday night, of course, our experimental league, or experimental, I say experimental, developmental league for the Schmodown. And then the week from then, we're actually going to get into the Star Wars division. It's going to be our first matches in the Star Wars division, so definitely keep your eyes open on that. On the Schmodown
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
I'll go behind the scenes real quick. Brad Gilmore came to me and was like, I didn't want to do a Star Wars or Inner Geek until like mid-season to build up a bank for questions and stuff for the league. And then also he's like, yeah, but May the 4th. I went,
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, PLD.
I see what you're plugging here.
All right, I'll get you a Star Wars match.
And Mike, anything you want to plug before we head out?
Why don't I just tomorrow night? First off, yes, What the Show podcast, Tuesdays 11 o'clock. Tomorrow, I'm doing my 8,000th stream on Mortal Kombat. But next week, we are going to be doing our first ever May the 4th spectacular. We're going to have a cavalcade of guests. All of you, if you'd like to send in videos or jump on, are welcome. We're just going to have everybody come on and just say why we love Star Wars.
Well, that's easy.
That's it. Discussing Star Wars on the internet? Yes. That's good.
I'm not familiar with this.
All right, you want to get up before head up?
Yeah, Notorious by Chance, the Facebook group. We are actually going to be shooting Scott Pilgrim. I know we got a little bit behind. I was in California.
We will shoot Scott Pilgrim at some point.
That shit happens. Vacations happen. But we'll be on there to talk about that movie. Looking forward to revisiting that. Also can find us YouTube on this channel right here. So if you're watching, you just subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff. Notorious by Chance. We'll be putting out more content here. Obviously, as more movies are getting wider releases and stuff like that too, and theaters are starting to get a little bit wider in their, requirements to get into the theater now, thank God. Hopefully we get back to a little bit of normal. So yeah, that's pretty much where you can find us.
And if I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Chance _91. Check the movie trivia Schmodown, the proper Schmodown where I compete. I think they released the May slate of matches.
It just came out.
I'm not on until the end of the month. I do have a match at the end of May.
Yeah.
Live stream winner of the team's tournaments, which let's be real, is going to be deception. It's going to be deception versus corruption. Calling it right now.
Call yourself, good boy.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.